Teen Titans. Teen Titans. Ding, 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 ding. Welcome back to the Review Tuesday. My name's Ruben and this is my review for Titans Season 4. I've been given access to half the season, but I'm reviewing the first 3 episodes. Let's jump in. Having saved Gotham, the Titans hit the road to head back to San Francisco, but after a stop in Metropolis, they find themselves in the crosshairs of a supernatural cult with the powers unlike anything they've faced before. I've loved what they've done with each season. It feels like the writing and character growth of all the characters that we've had come and go. Mostly our Teen Titans core group has stayed the same, but we've had a couple of other, like the Red Hood, other characters that have come and gone, but it feels like the writing has gone to strength to strength with the character development as well. But it's always been gritty, it's always been hard-hitting. They haven't been afraid to show gore, blood and guts and swearing. You know, it's the adult Teen Titans. It's like we had the generation that watched Teen Titans and then they grew up and now they're watching the adult versions of that, and I'm loving it and I have loved it. Thankfully this season doesn't have to do any character growth from that perspective, but there's still a lot of character growth to go. Superboy, he's trying to figure out who he is. He doesn't want to be in Superman's shadow, but also he knows that he has the DNA or the likeness of Lex Luthor, so he's trying to figure out who he is, and how he deals with that just within the first 3 episodes is interesting, seeing his persona change somewhat. Then we have Raven, who goes through a change of herself. All our characters seem to be going on some sort of growth storyline or movement in their characters, and that's because of the big bad, which is magic this time round. It seems to be messing with all of them somewhat. I like the storyline so far with Beast Boy as well, and it's classic Teen Titans. The group will face a big bad, they will lose against a big bad, they will kind of break up and learn to deal with themselves, come back together as a team, and then defeat the big bad. That seems to be the formula that they're going with. That doesn't mean it's not a good formula and it doesn't work, but there are moments in this, at least in the first 3 episodes, where we see our characters have to deal with an evil, and how they do that is more together as a team. And it seems like our characters have learned something when Dick Grayson gives a command. Well, please follow my orders, let's work together as a team sort of command. Before, that wouldn't have worked with our characters. This time around they grumble about it, but they do it, and because of that we see like, yay, finally they're listening a little bit, and that helps them when they fight someone that is way more powerful than they are. At least it looks that way. It's also quite gory. I mean, it's always been gory, but it also feels like it's more horror because it's dealing with magic. There are moments where we're dealing with like dream sequences, so you can go into reminiscing of something sort of like Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street. There are moments where there's a lot of blood, and the way we see magic defined between the good magic and the bad magic is interesting. We're dealing a lot more with the supernatural elements, or the elements that we don't normally see the superheroes deal with. So where we normally deal with powers, we have Starfire, we have Beast Boy, that sort of powers, but when it comes to the ethereal nature of magic, it's been less than. We've had moments of it, but this time around it really feels like that's the core premise and the arc of it, and I think for the most part it works well. I really like, again, the soundtrack in this kind of sets itself apart from some of the other superhero series we've had, gives it its own feeling and own kind of identity, which I really like. I think that's a good way to go with this little synth, harking back to some older times. There's a nice little recap as well, kind of giving you an idea of what has happened, what has come before. But if you can't remember, I would definitely recommend going to check out some of my previous reviews, or anyone that you trust, doing a recap, because it does help. There's been a lot that's come before. Where we've had the previous season, Gotham, it seems like we're going to be in Metropolis, and there are some characters that are going to appear that you probably weren't expecting, some that you were expecting, some that you are hoping to. There's a moment, even just in episode 1, I was talking to somebody on Twitter today, where Superboy wears a pair of glasses, does that, and there's this moment of, it's a nice nod to his heritage and to Superman, obviously, and there are moments like that I felt like they were really getting into the characters that feel like, hey, this is for the fans, but we're also doing our own thing with it. They've always kind of balanced the fine line between comics and doing your own thing with it, and I feel like they've really found the balance with that. So when it comes to the Raven storyline, there's a thing that she says that harnesses her power, makes her able to use spells and magic in a stronger ability, and seeing that used in this season in a different way, something else, probably seen it in the trailer at least, I thought was an interesting way to go. I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do with the rest of the season. So far, it ticks all the boxes. A really kind of geek out moments, great choreography, fighting, hard hitting as always, character growth, good costumes. I thought it was interesting to see what they were doing with those costumes. The fact that we've got a 4th season of this series and Doom Patrol coming soon means that it's found a core demographic and a core audience, unlike some of those other series which have been cancelled. I'm hoping that these stick around for a few more seasons, because if the writing continues to be as tight and fun as it is, it's serious, but it doesn't take itself too seriously, if that makes sense. I'm looking forward to your thoughts on this. Let me know, are you excited to watch this season? Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.